Hey everyone, this is Whitney, and welcome back to an episode of Spastic Chatter. If you didn't know, Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the cerebral palsy community. I get together weekly with individuals with CP, like myself, to have a kind of uncensored chat about what it's like living with this type of disability. And for this episode, I have Kaela. I've been following Kaela for a couple years now, and she just posted that she graduated with college with a bachelor's degree in criminology, so I thought that was pretty cool. So I wanted to have her on to speak about her experience and her life. So that's what we're gonna do this episode. We're gonna get to know Kaela, and I will let Kaela introduce herself, so take it away, Kaela.
Hi everyone, like Whitney said, my name is Kaela. I'm 27 years old. I have quadriplegic spastic cerebral palsy, and I recently graduated from Fresno State University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, specializing in victimology, as well as a certification in victim services. And my passion is working with victims, specifically that have dealt with or been exposed to domestic violence and sexual abuse or sexual assault.
Cool. So, what got you into that? Like, have you always wanted to be? Isn't your dream? I read before we did this. I read something. Isn't your dream to be like a district attorney or something like that?
Originally, my plan was to be a district attorney, but after I did my internship at the Monterey County District Attorney's Office with the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Unit, I realized that that's not what I wanted to be in the long run, because it's extremely demanding, and my ultimate goal in life is to be a mother, so I want to be able to give as much of my time to my children, my future children. So I wanted to still work with victims, just in a different avenue. So that's kind of when I moved to getting my master's degree in forensic psychology.
That's cool. So, what made you want to go into the field? Did you watch a lot of Law and Order growing up, or did something trigger your passion for criminal justice?
Well, I decided I wanted to be a domestic violence prosecutor at the age of 15 due to personal experience, and I kind of just decided that I wanted a way to turn pain into purpose. And then I also realized through the years that God may have not given me full use of my arms and legs, but He gave me a voice, and I want to use my voice to help those who may feel like they don't have one. So that's kind of where it all started from.
That's awesome. I like how you said turning pain into purpose. That's a really good it's a really good motivator. And do you think that your cerebral palsy comes into effect when you're just doing your job? Do you think you can do you think you can emphasize, or I don't know if that's I don't want to say sympathy, but do you think you can relate to who you're talking to because of what you've been through with your disability? Or
well, it does. I feel like I am the person who I am because of cerebral palsy and the obstacles that I've had to overcome. I see people in a different way than an able-bodied person may see them, because I have additional sympathy and I know what it's like to have to ask for help. and that could be hard for some people, you know, being vulnerable and a pride thing. So having to deal with that on a daily basis with my circumstances, it definitely, I feel like I can see them on a different level, as well as what I've also, you know, experienced in my life. So it all kind of plays together like a puzzle, you know.
Yeah.
So
you understood my question. I just couldn't get the words out there right. But you understood. So looking on the other hand, has there been times where people or yourself have doubted your capabilities? And if so, how did you handle that?
I don't know if you saw my graduation pictures that I posted, but I had a sign in one of my pictures that said, they said I couldn't, they said she couldn't, so I did. And that's kind of been my motto throughout my entire life, because so many people have not necessarily limited me, but have not, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, have not held back in their doubt or their concerns or their
opinions?
Their opinions or their feelings toward what I can handle and what I'm capable of because of my physical limitations. So I've kind of spent my life with a fire inside me wanting to prove, you know, those people wrong. So that's kind of been my motivator to get to where I am. Also, the field that I'm going into is a predominantly male profession. I mean, there is more females coming in, but it's an extra obstacle that I have to overcome because not only am I female, but I'm a disabled female.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like people actually feeling a certain way towards me, or it's my feeling within myself having to prove myself.
Yeah.
But through the years, I've realized just being myself and doing things the way I know how and having confidence in my knowledge and my ability, that's going to show in itself without me having to prove myself necessarily.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
Kind of just been a journey with myself as well, because I feel like I've been my biggest critic.
Yeah, that I can totally relate to that. One of the biggest aspects on this channel is that I talk about how I criticize, like, with my other guests. I talked about how, like, I will criticize myself before anybody else does, like, just by going off, like, people's facial expressions when they talk to me. If they're having a hard time, if it appears like they're having a hard time understanding me, I don't know if you get this, but, like, when I'm talking and, like, I strain when I talk, and, like, I'll see it on people's faces, like they have this facial expression, like I'm like, can they understand what I'm saying, or like sometimes they'll ask if I'm okay, and I'm like, yeah, that's just how I talk, and it makes me second guess myself, like, it just by reading their facial expressions, it just makes me want to, like, be quiet, like, not talk. I don't know if you get that too, but yeah.
Well, not necessarily when I'm talking, but I can see people's expressions and their body language when I first come into a room, because they see a woman in a wheelchair and I feel like they jump to conclusions or they may judge before they get to know me. But once I open my mouth and start talking to them, they realize, oh, she's just like us. She's just sitting in a wheelchair. So it's basically like, I've realized that education is key, because a lot of people's judgments or opinions may be based on like ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in a bad way. Yeah. It's just they may not have been exposed to a disabled person before, because they may have watched something on TV or seen somebody else that's disabled with different abilities than myself, and
Yeah.
they may just assume that I'm like them as well, just because I'm in a chair.
Yeah.
So
So have you? I know that you're going to grad school and we'll get into that. We'll get into that topic. But have you had to interview for jobs or anything yet?
oh yes, several times, and I've had to interview for internships as well in the criminal justice system, and so that could be daunting in itself because
Right.
like I'm in the real world now, so it's make it or break it time.
Do you
So
feel like your disability played a role in your interviews, like good or bad? Good or bad?
I honestly, like, if I'm being real with you, sometimes I forget that I'm in a chair. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just be carrying on with my life like I normally would, and then I don't realize my limitations or my differences until I can't do something, and I'm like, oh shoot, like, you know. But on a normal day-to-day basis, I kind of forget that,
Yeah.
that
And
I'm
it,
different in any way. But reality does hit sometimes.
yeah.
Like when I had to do my internship, like I only have full function of my left hand. So having to type as well as do paperwork and write all at once, I was like, oh shoot, this is no joke. Like this is tough because I can only do things with one hand, and I wanted to make sure that I met my deadlines and took care of my responsibilities because I've never wanted to receive special treatment from anyone. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience when I was in a situation and I only had, one arm to do it all.
So
So that was
how
it.
did you go? How did you go about handling that? Did you advocate for yourself to get um accommodations or did you?
Everyone that I've worked with has been really understanding, even professors and employers and anybody that I've come across. I've actually been really blessed with their flexibility and their understanding, and I think that they can sense my drive and my passion for what I do. That they kind of just they know that I'm in it for the right reasons and I'm giving it 100%. So they kind of just go with it, and they've been really supportive, and they always ask, like, is there anything that I can do, or is there anything that we can help you with to make your experience, easier or more enjoyable. So I've been really blessed on that end with people being so supportive because
That's
it would
cool.
be a lot different if it was, if I didn't receive that.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from all that is it's about a mindset. If you have a positive mindset and you attract those positive vibes. So if you're negative or like you're worrying all the time, the people around you are gonna sense that and treat you differently, right?
Yeah. Like people can see your confidence and they can see it's really true when people say like your vibes attract your tribe because
Yeah.
people can sense your vibe based on you just walking or rolling into a room. And people always tell me because I like to smile a lot and I'm like pretty much always smiling, and they're like, I don't understand how you can be so happy in your situation. And I find myself so blessed. Like I may not have the use of my arms or my legs, or I may have to, be faced with additional obstacles that other people don't have to overcome. But I'm so blessed with a lot, and I feel like I wouldn't be the person I am today without everything that I've, been
Yeah.
through. And don't get me wrong, like I do have, difficult days where it's hard. It's hard to keep going. It's hard to get out of bed. It's difficult when the people that you rely on to live your life don't show up for you, or, you know, don't understand how much you rely on them just to live your life. Like, I don't expect a lot from people that help me. I'm just expecting them to help me with my basic needs and to receive the respect and the dignity that anybody else would want to be, you know, to receive.
Yeah. So how do you, so you mentioned like that, having bad days and things like that. How do you cope with those bad days? What do you do? Like to
I have a really strong faith, and that really has helped me get through a lot of my challenging times, and it hasn't always been like that. Especially during when I was 15, 16 years old, I slipped into a very deep depression, and I have been suffering from anxiety, severe anxiety, for the last 5-6 years, to where it was extremely debilitating, and it affected all aspects of my life. But I had to realize, like, you know, I have to talk myself out of it, because the challenges that I'm faced with aren't just going to go away. So you kind of just have to have a mindset and be able to show yourself grace and know that it's okay to have bad days, and not be hard on yourself when you experience those bad days, because not every day is, you know, rainbows and butterflies. So it's kind of just learning how to take things as they come, and learn how to talk yourself out of it, and realize that tomorrow's a new day and this too shall pass, and kind of realize that attitude really is everything.
Yeah,
so
I agree. One thing that I've learned growing up, like being an adult with this disability, like you said, this too shall pass, and things like that. I've learned that as an adult, you kind of have to have like a go with the flow attitude when it comes to living with a disability, because you never know what's gonna happen, and you can't dwell on the hard times, or like you can't dwell on the past. You have to look towards the future and what you are capable of, and you can't like dwell on what you're not capable of doing, because that's just gonna leave you in a depressed mindset, and nobody wants to feel that, and nobody wants to be around that. So
so much is out of our control, especially with me having to, you know, rely on others to live my life. Like, they don't show up for me. I have no control over, you know, what happens. So the only thing that I have control over is how I react to situations.
Yes.
And I feel like this COVID-19 thing is a big learning season for a lot of people, because this was all out of our control. There was nothing we could do to prevent it or be prepared for it. So I feel like that's kind of the attitude that I've had from the beginning, is you can only control your reaction to situations, because a lot of my life has been out of my control. So
yeah, I completely relate to that. So going back to, you mentioned grad school. You're going to grad school for forensic psychology? What is that, and what do you plan on, like, give it like a brief description of what it is and what you plan on doing with it?
So because I originally wanted to be a prosecutor and I wanted to be involved in the courts, I wanted to find a way for me to still be involved in that, just in a different way. And forensic psychology is, you're basically studying the psychology of why people commit crimes, and like why they have like the elements of crime, and like why people do the things that they do, and what contributes to their personality, you know, their actions, everything like that. And since I'm not going to be a prosecutor anymore, my ultimate goal is to become I want to be able to testify in cases. as to why people commit the crimes that they do. I want to be an expert witness.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. So, do you have any advice for others that want to go into criminology, or any kind of advice, life advice, any advice?
Attitude really is everything, and if you want it bad enough, anything is possible. You just kind of have to take the obstacles as they come, and even in your most difficult, challenging of times, find the joy, because life is too short and there's so much in life for everybody, like different or not. So much is out of our control. So I'll repeat it again. Like, you can only control the way you react to situations, and just keep going. No matter what obstacles you face, just take it one at a time, and just no matter what, no matter how difficult it gets, just keep going. Don't quit.
Yeah.
Because life's never going to be easy. So that's my advice.
That is very good advice and so true, and many people can resonate with that. So
And don't let anybody stand in your way and tell you that you can't do anything or do something, because you are in control of yourself, and if you want it, like, you'll make it happen no matter what, no matter how long it takes. Because I didn't expect it to take me 9 years to graduate college. Like, nobody anticipates that, but a lot of unforeseen circumstances happened, and I just kept going. And that's the best advice I could give anyone, is keep going.
yeah,
Keep swimming.
yeah, because look at you now. You have your bachelor's degree and you've been accepted to graduate school. So yeah, so you're a, I was gonna say a walking example, but you're a rolling example of perseverance. So Kaela, do you have anywhere people can follow you? Are you active on social media?
I'm active on Instagram. I believe my username is Kaela with 3 A's. So it's Kaeelaaa, Marie, Marieee. I believe that's my username. I am not active on Facebook at the moment. I'm kind of just on Instagram. That may change, but as of right now, I'm just on Instagram.
Okay, well, and I will link that. I will put that in the description below. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And for those out there that want to be featured on an episode of Spastic Chatter, there is an email link in the description. And again, thank you, Kaela, for doing this. And check back next week for another episode of Spastic Chatter. Bye.
Thank you, Whitney, for your time and asking me to be on your channel, and stay safe, and I will hopefully talk to you soon.
Yeah.